All right, welcome back to the channel. Got another reaction style video for you guys today. Reacting to a couple clips off TikTok. Should be pretty entertaining. It always is. Before we get into it though, please like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff really helps the channel out. All right, let's get into it.
Do not do just what they want to do. They do what they have to do. Good men do, first and foremost, what they have a responsibility to do. You know what does whatever they want to do, whatever feels good in the moment? Animals and children. And as a
Okay, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Like, but is that part of being, is it part of being a man or is it part of being an adult? Like, I get the message he's saying and I agree with it, but I just don't think it really just applies just to men in general. Like, we shouldn't be the only ones that have to do the hard things and the things we don't want to do. Like, that's just part of life, I guess, as an adult.
grown man, you are neither of those things. Before you even think about what you want to do or whatever's going to make you happy, you should be focusing on what you have to do.
Okay, so this is definitely like a trend these days, and it's not that I don't agree with the trend because I think the overall message is a positive one. However, it's something about like the Jockos, the David Goggins, this guy. It's this ultra like, there is no pleasure in life. You must whip yourself every day in order to be a man. It's like, come on, bro. Like, not everything has to be said in a very serious voice with a black and white filter, right? Like, it's okay to have fun once in a while. Like, you're only on this earth once. Like, live it up a little bit. Should you not do your responsibilities and, you know, not do what you're supposed to do? No, do what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, this whole thing, like, it's just this sort of like it's almost like this like responsibility porn or something for men. And it's really funny because like the contrast is like when you look at like videos that are like targeted towards women, it's like, oh girl, you just be yourself, do whatever you want, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And then and then the male version of the video is it's like, you fucking suck. You pussy, you need to step up and really do more to be a man. Like, if you find yourself smiling, it's because you're not doing enough. You get out and run, right? It's like, come on. There's a there's a balance. There's a middle ground here. Anyways,
You have a responsibility to do. Who are you providing for? What kind of person does your life, your family demand you to be? That is your obligation first. Now, sometimes the things that we want to do and the things that we're responsible to do are the same thing, and those are great days. But if
those are great days. Those are days that you can be a happy human being. Again, I agree with what he's saying. You know, your responsibilities come first. Pleasure seeking and having fun comes second. But those should still be somewhere in your list of things you should be doing every day. And guess what? You'll still be a man if you have some fun.
the only thing you ever think about is what you want to do, I don't care how much hair you have on your chest, you will always be a boy living in a man's body.
Dang. Call me a boy. I should go run, I think. Maybe do a lot of push-ups. I don't know.
You want to be the guy that gets all the girls and women just fall over him and you're that playboy energy. Do not mess up the goodbye.
Oh my God. Like, I want to say that I feel like I'm too old for this video, but at the same time, she doesn't look young enough to make this type of video. Like, what? Why would I want to, like, she's trying to give me advice on being a fuckboy, basically. And I feel like at her age, she should not be even interested in those types of men. So, like, why is she like trying to give me advice on how to be one? Like, this is like a 20-year-old, 21-year-old type of mentality. But anyways, go on, girl. Educate me on how to be a piece of shit.
When you guys hook up and she leaves your house in the morning, this is usually where guys drop the ball because they like rush her out. They're super rude and they're just like, okay, bye, get out. And she's never going to want to do that again, okay? But
Look, if a guy is rushing you out the door and saying, okay, bye, he probably doesn't want to do it again. Right? Like, God, have some self-respect.
If you can play this move, the goodbye nice, they can be like, hey, can I pick up your Uber? Hey.
Okay. This is like a complete tangent side note, but I fucking hate it when women talk with their hands, especially if they have really long nails, which she doesn't have. But when they do this fucking thing, okay, it just like immediately I'm like, I disregard whatever you're saying. Just like whatever. It doesn't even matter because I really don't think you're going to say anything of value. Don't talk with your hands.
Do you want me to like order you a coffee? Hey, do you want some money for coffee this morning? Like, are you tired? Do you need anything? This is the guy that has the fucking game, okay? This is the guy that's gonna get invited back to hook up again. This is the guy that is gonna get a good review to all her best.
I'm way too old for this shit. This is so cringy. Like, oh yay, please reward me for please let me come back to your place again and be the 15th guy this week. Like, yay. Oh man, that's a trophy I want to like compete for.
And now her besties are gonna be looking at him like, ooh, that guy is hot.
So now her friends would, okay. All right. So if I hooked up with a girl and it was just a hookup, if I did not rush her out the door the next day and I gave her a coffee, she would then want to schedule more hookups, and maybe her friends would also want to hook up with me too. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
A lot of men that listen to this video and that listen to this type of advice where women are saying, no.
By the way, I love Emily. Her advice is spot on when it comes to the male perspective. So she's definitely a content creator that I follow and I really do respect.
You shouldn't feel bad, you know, if it's just not there for you, you're just not happy, you're not feeling it, you should just leave. Well, a lot of men will say it's the 90-10 theory. The woman.
Okay. I think I know where she's going with this. I've heard about the 90-10 theory quite a bit, and I honestly do think it is true. Absolutely a subconscious thing on the part of a woman. I don't think they mean to do it. I don't think it's something they intend to do. I think it's just a thing that happens, and unfortunately they tend to get fixated on that 10%. But let's listen to her and see what she has to say.
Woman is so focused on the 10% that's not there in the relationship or not there in the man that she's missing the whole 90% that is there. She's not grateful for that 90%. She does.
Yeah. Again, spot on. And I really do think that this is a real thing that happens in real life, real relationships. And I don't think it's anything malicious on the female's part. I just think that a lot of times there's another saying that when it comes to women, and that's them saying, well, what have you done for me lately? They don't actually say that specifically, but a lot of times men in general, we sort of like naturally keep score. Like we think of all the things that we've done for the relationship in the past, you know, like, oh, hey, like I helped put you through school, or I built that chicken coop, or I remodeled the bathroom for you, and all these things. Like we remember all the things that have been requested of us and things that we have done for our partner. But it doesn't really seem to work that way when it comes to women. They appreciate it in the moment, but they don't keep that scorecard. So unless you are continuing to do those types of things, it's almost like out of sight, out of mind. That's the 90%. The 10% is whatever they want from you that you haven't done. And even though 10% is less than 90%, obviously, the 90 doesn't matter because you're not doing the 90% right now for them. They want the 10%, and you're not doing that for them right now in this moment. So in this moment, to them, the 10% matters more than the 90% that you've done in the past.
Doesn't appreciate it. So because of that, she's getting hyper focused on the 10%. And when she eventually decides that she's just so unhappy because of this hyper focus, she ends up leaving, and then she finds the man that does have the 10%, right? Because that's what she's still focused on. Meanwhile, that new man doesn't even have the 90%. So now she's left with 10%. This is where a lot of women will sit. A lot of
All right. That's the 90-10 theory. That's pretty much summed up. That's where I thought she was going with that. So it makes sense to me. The part that I will say with the whole like sitting in regret thing is I really don't think most women regret. I don't think they think that way. Because again, they move on, they get that 10% from that man that was missing, but then, you know, he's got 90% of whatever he brings to the table, and there's 10% that he's missing as well. So just because your 10% is missing that you're trying to put forward, it's not the same 10% as the other guy's going to be missing. Like, we cannot all be one perfect person. We can't be 100% of somebody's needs. It's just impossible. The problem is somewhere along the line, that reality got lost. Like, I don't know if it's Hollywood or what, but no one's perfect. No one brings 100% of what the other person needs to the table. It's just something that you have to deal with. And I think men are better at seeing that than females are, just because of just like the way our brains work. The things we prioritize are different, and that's completely fine. I don't even like, I'm at a loss. I'm going to move on from this one.
Let me cut off all the things that made me a fucking man to begin with, because you want somebody that's going to nurture you and validate you and be home and give you all this attention. She's going to be like, oh, all this stuff I was attracted to, now that I got him, I don't want him to have it anymore because he might leave me. He might.
Okay. I actually just put out a video where I talked about this like somewhat recently. I don't know if this is where he's going, but it was about men and needing hobbies and the importance of men having hobbies. And I specifically pointed out that I know a lot of men that start having a whole bunch of hobbies, they get into a relationship, and then suddenly they don't do their hobbies anymore. And the odd part about that is most of the time, the girl, the wife, girlfriend, whatever at the time, in the beginning of that relationship, they seemed very proud of the hobbies that their boyfriend had. They would brag to their friends about the hobbies. Like, hey, look at my man. Yeah, he's got his shit together. Like, he's got a nice job. He's got a good group of friends. He's got all these hobbies. You know, he has interests. And somewhere along the line, like, those hobbies and interests become competition for the female's happiness and attention. And then that's when they start arguing and having issues, and then the men just stop having the hobbies, and then they become miserable, and then the relationship's miserable. So men have hobbies, women have hobbies.
Be interested in another girl. Other girls are going to be interested in that. So they do this self-destruct thing where they start trying to turn the guy into the nice guy. They start trying to domesticate him because we're so wired to take care of our women and protect them and elevate them. We start to do that shit. We're like, okay, let me cut off my wings. Let me cut off the shit that made me man. All the stuff that made me powerful. Is that one?
Okay, I don't know about things making me powerful. Like, if I go to jiu-jitsu, I guess it kind of makes me powerful, but like, you know, if I go to golf, it doesn't make me powerful, right? So this is a little bit of that, you know, that man speak type stuff, you know, gotta be powerful, you gotta be a man. Look, some hobbies make you powerful, some hobbies make you more manly. Some hobbies are just fun, right? They enrich like your soul and your happiness. It has nothing to do with how manly it makes you be. And I think cutting off your wings is a little dramatic, but I think I know what he's saying. Basically, he's saying in the beginning, you were free as a man. You were free to do all these things you wanted to do and all these hobbies. And by your partner, your female companion, putting the kibosh to those hobbies, you're basically grounded, right? And therefore, I guess your wings have been clipped and you've been tied to a post in the backyard like a dog.
Cut off my tribe. Let me cut off all the things that made me a man to begin with, that made you attractive, because you want somebody that's going to nurture you and validate you and be home and give you all this attention. And then guess what happens? The second you start doing that, they lose attraction for you. That's why.
Oh, yes. So true. 100%, right? Part of being attractive as a man is our drive and our passion for life. A lot of times when you have a focus and you have a goal, you're going somewhere. And if you have hobbies, it shows you're interested in life and you have passion, a spark. That's very attractive. The moment someone tells you you can't do those anything anymore and they beat you down into the point where you're not even arguing anymore, you're just like, yeah, you know, I used to do these things, but it's not even worth the hassle. I'm not even gonna bring it up anymore. That is a sign of weakness and a sign that she broke you, right? Like a wild horse. You're like, no one can tame me. And then she's like, yeah, watch this shit. And you're like, okay, baby, I won't go out anymore. I'm sorry. And then she's like, you little bitch. I'm going to go find a man with a bigger beard and more tattoos.
There's so many sexless marriages. It's because the men did exactly what the woman tried to get him to do. Instead of being a man first, he's like, let me be a husband first. Let me do everything to take care of you. And now she's not sexually attracted to him anymore. And the only time he's getting laid is if the stars line up just right as his birthday, or he did all the honey-do lists and it's an exchange.
Yeah, this is fact. And the horrible part about this is when that starts to happen and that slippery slope starts, the more the man chases sex and tries to figure out why it's not there, the more unattractive it is, right? Because begging for sex is not attractive for anybody. So when the man gets put in that position where it's like, well, we're not having sex, but we're in a relationship and I can't go get it somewhere else. So I feel like I have to sit here and like jump through these hoops to get your desire. There's no self-respect in that. And it's absolutely not looked kindly on by women. It's basically a sign of weakness, and they got you by the balls, essentially. And I'm not saying like go step out and find sex somewhere else, but it's just this vicious cycle of like you lost your momentum, and then that makes them lose attraction for you. And then when you're like, oh, hey, I think you lost attraction for me. Can you please be attracted to me? It's my birthday. I would like some sex or whatever. And they're like, ooh, that's gross. Because it is gross. You have to have self-respect. You have to basically be in a position where you're not going to go find sex somewhere else, but you absolutely could if you wanted to. That alone, having those options, is a turn on for women. Women don't want a man that other women don't want. Same thing with dudes. Like, you know, like you want people to think your person's attractive, right? So as a man, if you let your partner, your woman, your girlfriend, your wife, or whatever, if you let them like beat you down into this putty that they can manipulate whenever they want to, it's going to be drier than the Sahara. Okay? That's all I'm going to say.
Currency, you know, it's like, okay, baby, I did everything. It's Valentine's Day. Can I get some? I'm just not in the mood. Okay, maybe next week, babe. Maybe next week. Like, you're a shell of a man. But that's what women do, is they destroy their men if you're not a man first.
Yeah. 100%. I agree with him. It's happened to a lot of friends. It's happened to me in past relationships. Now, were they bad relationships? Yeah, absolutely. But somewhere along the way, I know that I gave into those little shit tests too many times, and that started that slippery descent down that slope that is very hard to come back from. So don't get it twisted. Like, don't not do things for your woman, but like, they will respect you more if you actually put your foot down once in a while about things that matter to you, right? Don't put your foot down on things that you're like supposed to do. Like, don't put your foot down on your responsibilities. No. But if you're like, this thing makes me happy, and they're like, I don't want you to do it, sometimes you got to say, I'm going to do it anyways. This is what makes me happy. And they're like, okay.